And then all today's job is fitting the new discs. Recently painted. Look quite nice on there. FZ1. That's just to give it a bit of colour. Black and silver are okay, but black, gold and silver a bit more snazzy, a bit more attractive. So FZ1 centre stands. Brilliant idea on bike centre stands. For jobs like this, obviously what it does, it throws the weight to the front, and the way you need it is to sit like basically that, to give you this space and room to pull the front wheel off. Tools required. Simple enough. Multi-tool, 19 size into there, 17 on the end. It's too small a ratchet for the pressure it's going to need, so what I'm going to do is fit the 19, 17 to 17. That will allow me to use my bigger sockets and less pressure on the socket and tools themselves. So that's that done. Locking nut rather on the side is HW6, so that's HW6 into there. You have a nut there, which is part of the mudguard, which will be coming off as well. That is HW5. Down here, ABS sensor. Another one again, that's HW4, and then again HW4 for the mudguard themselves up there. Right, so what I need to do now is get the front end off the floor. Right now, we have the front end off the floor, and the way I've done it is basically 2 bottle jacks, one on either side, bottle jack rod straight through onto opposite sides, piece of wood just to take off the extra height. And the way I've done it is, if you looked through there, there's a part of the engine that juts out, which is nice and strong, just there. So it's not on a moving part. Do not put it on a moving part. Don't put it on anything that can bend, anything that can twist. And when you jack it up, only jack it up enough for the front wheel to come off the floor, basically, like so, and that the rear wheel is only just touching, because if you jack it up too much, what you're going to do is take the whole weight of the bike onto here, and that's not what we want. All we want to do is take the weight, the counterweight of the front, just to rock backwards, and there we go, ready to go. So let's get comfortable. And crack on with the job. 6 into here. Locking nut, and that can come off. Never normally that tight then. They just nipped up because all the iris bases support. Clamp that bottom fork and the bottom bar, and away you go. This is usually a lot tighter, so not too bad. One go with the bar. Then what I'm going to do is just spin it out with a small socket, standard half socket anyway. That's it, that's all loose. That wheel will now drop forward, but I'm going to leave it in so far because what I'm going to do first is remove all the mudguard mounts so that can come off. ABS removed first, HW5 moves through the gap, turn the wheel slightly. That is if it's a 10mm, yes, it's a 10mm everybody, so that's fine, 10mm. With it, and I always put them together, so at least if anything gets mixed up, collecting them all from a big job in a box or something, at least you've got an idea what goes with what. So that's that back mount there, and obviously it's duplicated on the other side, it's the same again on the other side. Off, bolt out, put together. So that's the mounts, the rear mounts for the mudguard, but also the mounts for the pipes. Moving on to the smaller size, which is basically the HW4. See, they're quite easy to come off by hand as you get further down. The thread. Sometimes you just want to put a little bit of pressure behind them. So these things tend to sort of keep spinning when they get to the end. That'll help. That's the mudguard off. Set the mudguard to one side. Caliper removed. Obviously both sides, keeping an eye on what goes where. So that's that one out. Bungee cord, up through and over anything you can find. For now it can sit on there. It will nicely sit over the fairing bracket. Down into the caliper. Hold it nicely there. And this one will do the same. There we go. Caliper off. And then again, oh, there's the ABS, which is handy. That up. ABS, there's a sensor, needs a clean out, which is good. That's what it's going to get. And the wheel will just roll forward. There we go. You can see. Now the reason for this is, if it's obvious to the camera, but that's ribbed. And what it's done is somebody's let the brake pads get low, too low, or there's been a lot of crap and grit in them, and it's dug into the pads are low anyway. The pads are quite low. See how far out the calipers pistons are. They're quite far out there. Be pushed in, which means thicker pads. So they're quite low and obviously marked as well. So they're definitely going to come out, which is the plan anyway, because the ones I've got with the pack or the set are brand new, so or done very little mileage. So now what I do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and basically what that does is then release the disc, and the same on the other side. 5 to release, and off we go. So that's what I'm going to do. So that hold above it. There we go. Gently, gently, gently. Not to damage the tool, not to damage the head of the bolt. Keeping pressure down and vertical all the time. Five, and there's your disc. To one side, flip over, do exactly the same for the other one. That's a bit tighter, that, so don't overdo it. There we go. Because all exactly the same length and size, so piling them up is no issue. You are going to need to clean the bolts off just with a wire brush, because they want some locking compound on them as well when refitting. There we go. Simple as that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to trim the wheel, clean all the wheel off, white brush all the wheel, both sides, and make sure it's clean inside and the seals are all clean. That one needs a bit of clean up, and then it'll be ready to fit the new discs, ready to grease up and refit the wheel. It's a larger head that goes to the outside. Line it up. That's it, and it sits on there nicely. 5 bolts. A little bit of locking compound on each one. Gently find the screw, because you don't want to mis-screw them. Knock the threads inside. If it feels like it's not going to go as easy as you expect it to do so, then it's wrong, so pull it back out and start again. Once they're all down finger tight, and you're avoiding any twisting anyway, everything should be seated nicely. Right, 18 Newton meters. That is the wheel with the new discs on. Snazzy with the gold, brand new. So they'll do a few miles. I've welcome to the bike, and it is time to remove the brake pads. It's a very easy, simple job. Pliers, long nose ideally. And what you do is you've got your 2 pins, you can see, you've got your caliper, you've got your 2 pins, pull them out one at a time, push your securing pin out, and then what that does is release the spring at the back, and then these just fall forward and out like so. That's it. See how badly worn they are. They've obviously been through mud or muck or something, because they're also covered in some crap or something. Unfortunately, so is the caliper. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead, clean out everything first before I go and refit. What it's going to be is basically just a little wire brush, cleaning out everything, going around, make sure there's no crap left in there which would contaminate the new pads. What I've done while I've got the wheel off, cleaned all the inside, which is usually inaccessible, all the inside bottom of the forks, the inside forks themselves, everything's all cleaned, and also cleaned off the brake calipers. As you can see, it's all cleaned off while I can. The thing to do is, when fitting new brake pads, to the top of the reservoir off. That's the lid, that is. And when you get to take the lid off, often you'll find a bit of plastic covering some rubber. What I've done is just loosened it off very gently, because when you press the pistons in, it sends fluid back up. And all you're going to do is, if you don't take the lid off, is cause pressure to pull it back down again. So what I'm going to do is push on each caliper like so, which tells me which does 2 things. It tells me they're working fine, but also gives me room for the new ones. So press them nice and tight. That's it. So they're all fully open. So now new pads. These are from storage, so need cleaning off. Bit of copper grease just in the ring where the caliper is going to sit. That is going to avoid any vibration, any rattling, which will vibrate up to your hands, onto the bars, and quite simply be an absolute pain in the butt. So run that around there, like so. Just very gently clean off the clamp spring at the back. Now these are arrowed. If you can see that, there's an arrow just there which points upwards. Pin cleaned. What I like to do is just put a very gentle smearing of grease on that as well, because that will allow it to be removed easy next time, stop it seizing up. Okay, so just a bit tricky. So obviously pad to the inside, one push up and in, second one push up and in. I'll try and do it so you can see it. Okie dokie. So arrow upwards, and obviously it wants to be that little groove there wants to be down facing inwards, which will sit in between the 2 pads. Your pin goes through there into this first disc, into the first pad, and then you need to go under the little spring lip there into the second pad and then out the other end, and then they are secure other than your pins. Now you need to put your pins in. Now if you're lucky, your pinholes will be facing outwards, which mine are on this one. So little clips pushed in. There we go. Second one pushed in. There we go. Turn it round. That's what you're looking at. So what you can do is just move them to the outside. Ready for the disc. And that is your pads fitted. So now we're ready for the wheel. Don't lean it straight down the floor because you sit it on a disc. Don't anything to break or warp. So lean it against something or put it down on something. So we need to just bring it into place, and there you can rest it against there, something there. You get your bush from the outside. So it then sits quite simply. It's a spacer, so all it does is sit just inside there like that. That side, disc's looking quite fancy, quite smart. Looking forward to getting it out on the road the first time in 2018. So if I remember rightly, look at this first. So it's a bit of a clean up, may as well clean everything while we're here. Right, now it's refitting time. The wheel is lifted up and the axle is put in. That's all. This needs lubricating and plenty of grease on the rod. Push it in all the way through, and then basically just to the thread. And what I've done is just turned it 2 or 3 threads and left it there. That caliper is mounted, so it's obviously mounted over the disc. It goes on the inside of the fork. You've got 2 bolts, and what I've done is clean the bolts off, but also put some Loctite on it. They're finger tight at the moment till I get the second one done. So we've got the top mount for the ABS cable. Up to there. Bit fiddly, push your bolt through. Hold it in place to get a couple of threads. What we'll do, same with the second one. On the top of that, ABS over the top. Run it through. A couple of threads. This is basically what it looks like. So now everything is basically tightening up. Mudguard replacing, and discs and pads, fancy disc and pad, a bit of gold, and jobs are good one really. The wheel straight, pressure on. Oh, it's tight, there's plenty tight with that, just to be that extra safe. Right, final stages now. Final stages are replace the mudguard and make sure everything is torqued up. So the mudguard is there as follows. Goes in from the front, straight around over the wheel, into position where you basically have the 2 bolts. It goes from one side and then the other side. Then you've got the 4 screws, bolts, which basically just mount the front ends, and that's it. So that's it, job good done. I enjoyed it, hope it's been beneficial for you. Happy riding, hope the sun comes out and we have a good summer. All the best, cheers.